when you reached out about the podcast, you were like, I don't know if my most recent book counts as historical romance because it's in the 1970s. So I would love to just have that discussion. Like, what do you think counts as historical?
Well, if you look at the National History Day program, students can do projects on anything that is over 20 years old. So, like 9/11 is historical to the National History Day program. And so, that kind of K-12 education context, right? Like teaching, like working with students who weren't even born in 2008 and don't remember the recession is wild. So, our concepts of history, I think, are really couched in when we were born and what things we've experienced versus what things came before us. So for me, the 1970s feels historical, but for other people, it doesn't because they lived through it. I've seen all sorts of random dates thrown around, like before 1983 is historical or before 1990. And it's like, it's just arbitrary, really. You know, I think, especially having lived through the COVID-19 pandemic and the racial reckoning after George Floyd's murder, like we have lived through historic times, and those are things that have changed us implicitly. And they are history. They happened not that long ago, but they are history. And they're definitely going to be something that we're going to think a lot about and process and maybe interpret and help us tell our story about who we are and where we come from. So I think when I'm thinking about historical romance, I think some folks don't even think like, oh yeah, the 20th century, that is also historical romance, right? Because sometimes it seems so couched in that very specific, like Regency England sort of context. And so that's something that I like to play with and do research and think about how people's lives were different and really try to create that world around those historical facts.